We know what the international issue of our time is. It is the Western hegemony with our unholy alliance with Israel. On the domestic side, we are seeing the remnants of just how far the surveillance/police state is going to go if we don't stand up to this. I don't know if you've heard about this story, but there is this data center that they are now trying to construct. Let's just call it what it is, surveillance center. We got to stop saying data center, guys. These are surveillance centers. That's what these are. These are military installations all over the United States. But now they're attempting to break a barrier that hasn't been broken yet, and it looks like they're going to get it. Critics race to stop Boulder City data center before it sets a national precedent. Now, for those who don't know where Boulder City is, it's about 30 to 45 minutes southeast of downtown Vegas, and about 20 minutes from Henderson. And so this community in particular, if anybody here in the chat is from Nevada who wants to speak on this, who's even aware of it, this is a very serious issue here, because they're now attempting to build this surveillance center on public land. This is federal land that they're attempting to do it on. They haven't done it yet, but now they're trying to do it. And of course, the Donald decided to sign off on the executive order allowing it to happen. So let's scroll down a little bit. As a surveillance center developer moves its project forward on federal land in Boulder City using an unusual regulatory mechanism, a heated land use debate has sparked appeals and a resolution in Congress that would ban surveillance centers on federal land. On Monday, the Center for Biological Diversity and the Sierra Club, to hell with them, jointly filed a petition for a stay to the Interior Board of Land Appeals, asking a judge to halt construction while an appeal is processed. The Boulder City Attorney's Office filed its own version on Friday after the City Council voted to direct its staff to do so earlier this month. What happened in Boulder City has partly spurred the introduction of the No AI Data Centers on Federal Lands Act, a resolution seeking to ban surveillance centers on land owned by the federal government. Representative Rashida Tlaib introduced the measure late last week as H.R. 9939. Guys, write that down, H.R. 9939. The resolution's 5 co-sponsors, as of Monday, did not include any members of Nevada's congressional delegation, of which it is bipartisan in the state of Nevada. You got Republicans and Democrats in federally elected positions. There's your bipartisanship. Houston,
remember that the Nevada Democratic Party was the party that canceled their interview on our show because Debbie Wasserman Schultz called them and said we were anti-Semites.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Okay. Houston-based Townsite Solar 2, a subsidiary of the hedge fund Skylar Capital Management, had publicly sought a lease on city-owned land for months for a surveillance center that could have generated $2.3 million in annual revenue for Boulder City, according to city officials. The developer declined to comment further on the appeals through a spokesperson. Of course they did. After a city panel voted 6-1, recommending against the project's approval, 6-1 against it, meaning we don't want this here. We don't want to break precedent and start using federal land. The Trump administration granted the developer expedited approval anyway to build it on an adjacent parcel of federal land that had already been approved after environmental review and public engagement processes for a utility-scale solar project. Federal land managers determined in approving the switch that the environmental impacts of a solar farm and data center were not different enough to warrant another environmental review. If this is not sheer corruption of the worst kind, I don't know what is. There's no difference between the environmental impact of a solar farm versus a surveillance center. Are you kidding me? That's the lies that they're not going to go to. And if that's not enough, And this is the argument that Jen's been making for a while. When people ask, what is the point of voting? This is an example of it doesn't matter who you vote for on the city council. The federal government will just come in and tell you to go get fucked, and we're going to do it anyway. What are you going to do about it? You're going to challenge the might of the federal government and the U.S. military? Because that's what they're daring you to do now. They're telling you it doesn't matter if you get it voted down. We're going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
How do you not see this as anything other than a revolution at this point?
Hey, let me just mention something from a personal note. You mentioned about, whether it be Democrat, Republicans, whatever the case may be. In my District 5 congressional campaign this year, Steny Hoyer, who, as you know, should have been gone a long time ago. I think you don't notice I ran against him a couple of times. Know it's going to be hard to win, but I did get 13,000 votes out of it with no money, mind you. But his hand-selected individual is a data center proponent and Democrat, and he won. He was lying to us, and we even come to find out our governor went behind our back and going to open up a data center not too far from where I live. Now, the other thing when you talk about, go ahead.
You mean Mr. Suave wanting to run for president, Governor Wes Moore, decided to do such a thing? I thought only the Republicans did such terrible things.
Answering what you just stated, I think, Jen, one of you said about whether it doesn't matter Democrat or Republican. And now our soon-to-be, because we are a primary Democratic, district, our guy is going to be a data center guy, who lied. They poured more money into his campaign. You ready for this? Along with AIPAC. And now this guy has been bought and paid for already, what are considered data centers. Now, listen, also, let's add this. When we're talking about putting it on federal land, a lot of people don't understand what you just said, Peter, the intent of those data centers, collecting information and keeping information on you and me. It all goes all the way back to Doge. When our main man, our trillionaire, well, I heard he's not a trillionaire anymore, but was in government collecting information on all of us for the data centers that will be used. A lot of people think in the data centers, when you don't want it in our area, we were basing it on, which is true too, that, hey, our electrical bills will go up because of the amount of electricity that would cause. Our water bills, because you have to have a cooling system to keep them down. A lot of people don't understand what you just stated, and that's why, it's important to have shows like yourself, because you got to understand what those centers are all about. It's collecting data about you and me, if you will.
Yeah. I've been saying a long time that I do not think that, first of all, the data centers and the Zio state are inextricably intertwined. And I think it's also connected to all the cop cities that are popping up all over the place, because I think that they realize that these data centers are going to be under attack by the population. And so they have to have the right urban warfare units ready to go at any moment. And these things are all happening generally in places where people don't know. So that's why there's so many more than the ones we know about. We only know about the ones that are in communities where people are seeing it and they're aware of it. Think about all the ones that have been built in places where people might not even know.
I messaged two of my friends in Vegas, and they had no idea that this is going on. No idea.
Right.
And that's what Clark County, that's what they're banking on. They're banking on people not asking questions. That by the time you figure out that this is going on, it's already too late.
Well, see, that's the problem. You don't know what you don't know. And I'll reiterate again, about that's why it's important for people like yourself to have the shows and to have others on. And as I can't remember his name right now, but the individual, the last video you showed, about the importance of independent media and social media. That's why Bibi Netanyahu was trying to shut down. They were talking about, or they worried about the Chinese. If you go back to some of your records, look at what I was saying all along. I think from the first time I came on your show, I said TikTok was not about the Chinese getting our information. We need to worry about America getting our information more so than China. But more importantly, the reason they were trying to shut down TikTok was because of the fact more eyes were being opened. And Bibi Netanyahu, don't believe me, he's admitted to that right now. He figures and says that TikTok and social media was the thing that was causing us here in America, the majority of a lot of us now, are turning against Israel. No, our eyes are being opened now. And Peter and Jen, once again, that's why it's important. I used to get mad because people didn't know certain things. No, they don't know if we don't tell them, and once again, as I said, I get sometimes upset. We're preaching to the choir. That's why it's important for your audience as they go out there is to share this information, and have them do their own critical thinking. So certain things just don't make sense. And I think most of our people will understand and react if they know.
We're in this very scary time where, because we can't even believe our own eyes, whether it's we think what is AI. Like now, when I see a video of someone, I need to know if this is even a real human. And if it is a real human, did they actually make this video? So we can't even trust the media that we see.
And they're going to keep getting better at it. And they're going to keep getting better at it.
So it's very scary.
Let me just make a comment. I just had that discussion yesterday with two of my IT experts and friends who are into all this data and understand. They're the ones that help educate me. I'm going to give you the perfect example. McConnell. You've seen all these pictures, these two pictures that come out about O'Connell. You don't know if they're AI or real, but let me show you something. I always had my suspicion. I told you I'm a TikTok nut. I'm out there all day. My wife accused me of being out there 24 hours a day. I go to bed looking at TikTok and I wake up, and that's true though. But let me tell you what I saw yesterday. You know those two pictures, the latest one that has been with his wife that had been showing, he's alive and well. A TikTok came out that looked real, where they had that same picture, but it was live, and they showed his wife after it was all said and done. See, he's okay. Then they took that picture, and it was a picture on a cardboard, size. And did you see that, Pete? And folded it up, and it looked so real. And I said, AI is scary.
It is.
It should be illegal.
It is.
It should be illegal. Because that thing that we just talked about, Peter, it looked so real. She took the cardboard and just folded it. And it was just a picture, a full-size picture of him, of that same picture, and she just took it and folded it and then walked out with it.
I want you to listen to me very carefully when I say this. I did not do anything wrong because it was all AI. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that's eventually what's going to happen. People are going to say, that's AI. I didn't do that. It's going to have the reverse effect.
Well, Peter, you're on it again. I told a good friend of mine, I can't think of the name of the group. In fact, I think they were supposed to play during the Trump's big, event, our anniversary and all that. But they had a song out, It Wasn't Me.
Right.
I forgot his name. Yeah, I know.
It wasn't me.
I'll be thinking about it.
We're going to have a lot of people.
Shower. Wasn't me.
Yeah, there you go. On the bedroom, on the table, kitchen table, and all that. It wasn't me. Well, guess what? We're going to have a lot of people saying that now because of AI.
Plausible deniability.
It's very dangerous.